Hey everyone. So I'm gonna wait to see if anyone shows up. I'd be surprised if anyone does because it is super late, but I just thought of this topic because I've been seeing just crazy amounts of questions online regarding to how to keep a man, so much content on how to keep a man, how to keep a man happy, how to keep a man interested, and this, that, and the third. Oh, hey, someone's here. Hey, you can leave a chat if you want to say something. And as always, I have a link that you can join if you'd like to have a conversation. But anyway, I've been seeing a lot of content around how women should do this, how women should cook, how women should clean, how women should do all types of unholy acts in the bedroom to keep a man. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is complete nonsense because you can do all of these things, like, right? Like our grandmothers, our great grandmothers did all of these things. They cooked, they cleaned, they stayed home, they had these men's babies, they had these men babies, they did all types of things, right? And these men still cheated, these men still left them, these men still were deadbeats. So it's kind of like this silly. It's not about keeping a man, it's about having enough self-love. And I'm afraid. Hey Patricia Ortiz, how are you? How are you, girl? But anyway, I am afraid that a lot of women are so obsessed with keeping a man, so obsessed with pleasing a man, so obsessed with the man, so obsessed with the idea of being in love, the idea of being in a relationship, the idea of having a connection, when it's really not about that. It's never been about that. And women would stop losing in these types of relationships, in these types of hetero relationships, if they simply switched. They made that switch of thinking about keeping a man to thinking about keeping themselves happy, right? Like if a woman made that simple switch, like her life would turn around completely. It really isn't about keeping a man. It isn't about keeping a man happy because no matter what, men are wired to be self-serving. Men are going to do what is in their best interest 99.9% of the time. Women, on the other hand, are wired to be nurturers, are wired to be selfless, and they do that. They do what's in their best interest, not most of the time, unfortunately, because women have children. And when you have children, you can't be super selfish and self-serving or that child won't survive, right? It's the maternal instincts that make women more selfless. That can work in a woman's to a woman's detriment if she doesn't understand when to really use those maternal instincts and when not to use those maternal instincts. Those maternal instincts are for your children, are for babies, are for actual things you have to nurture, not grown men. Grown men, I mean, their mother should have nurtured them. If their mother didn't nurture them, that it is not your job to nurture that grown man. Again, I'll say this again. It is not about keeping a man. It is about keeping yourself happy. It's about putting yourself first as a woman. Because I don't know if you know this, ladies, or not. If you do not put yourself first, ladies, if you don't put yourself first, no one will put you first. Not in the patriarchal society we live in today. Sorry. Men are self-serving. If you are with a man thinking that man is going to put you first without you putting yourself first from the start, it's not going to happen. He's not wired to do that. Men are wired to be takers. Men are not wired to be selfless givers like women are. So instead of thinking about keeping a man, instead of thinking about keeping a man happy, instead of thinking about satisfying a man, I urge all of you women to think about how to keep yourselves happy, even if that means you have to be single, right? Being single is lovely. I mean, and the thing is, I see so many women lamenting about how they're single. Oh my gosh, I'm single. Like life is da 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 da. But it's like, think about this. It's better to be single and have your options wide open and be able to have all of your time dedicated to you, your self-improvement, discovering yourself, discovering your likes, discovering, what you would want to do in your future, figuring out your goals, and your aspirations, than to spend that time on someone who takes you for granted and doesn't care about you and doesn't put you first, right? And also, if you think about kind of the pros and cons of being single, when you are single, you are open to whatever, right, on the market. Meaning the next day you could meet someone that could change your life completely. Now, if you are tied down in a relationship and that man isn't giving you a better life, he isn't giving you a higher quality of living, that means you are losing the chance of meeting someone that can change your life, right? Because you're tied to someone, right? When you commit to someone, you lose your power because you lose your options. When you're single, you have options. You have all the options when you're single, right? So I think that's important to keep in mind. Um, so it's really not about keeping a man. It's about keeping options, keeping your options wide open, like as open as possible. I read several Robert Greene books: The Art of Seduction, The 48 Laws of Power, and The Laws of Human Nature. Oh, and The 33 Strategies of War. I read those 4 books. And throughout the different books he has, um, one of the key components to being a great strategist is to have options, is to make sure you have options, is to make sure you have a plan A, B, C, D, E, right? When you, how tired is the cliche, never put all your eggs in one basket? It's a super tired cliche. Everybody's tired of hearing that cliche. No one wants to hear that again, but it's true. The reason why it's a cliche is because it has nuggets of wisdom in it, right? Nuggets of wisdom that stand the test of time. So I would keep that in mind as well. Make sure you keep your options open. That is the best strategy you can have in dating, because when someone mistreats you, you can just go to the next one. When someone ignores you, you can just go to the next one. When someone doesn't give you what you want, you can just go to the next one. You don't have to stay stuck. And a lot of women stay stuck because they don't keep their options open, because they're so worried about keeping a man, because they're focused. And I'm letting you know right now, I do not think this was a coincidence. I do not think women are conditioned to be like this by coincidence. It was intentionally propagated. Like, this message was intentionally propagated to condition women to be powerless, because I've made a video on this topic before. Women have all of the power because women select who we want to partner with, who we want to give access to our time, energy, and bodies to, right? We get to select that. We don't live in ancient times now where there's no consequence for assault and rape, right? If someone assaults you or rapes you, you can take that and put in action a punishment for the perpetrator. Use this to your advantage. Like, do not take ish, like, I don't know. I had to make this video because I've just been thinking about how so many women sell themselves short. They sell themselves short because they're either desperate or they're lonely, and there's no reason to be, because you have yourself. You should be so comfortable with yourself. You don't ever feel like, hey, I'll just take any old body, even if he treats me like trash. You should love yourself enough. It is not about keeping a man. It is about loving yourself enough to where if someone mistreats you or if someone doesn't give you like top-notch treatment, you should be like, what? You should walk away. And I'll tell you this right now, men will treat you how you treat yourself. So if you treat yourself well, it signals to him that he should also treat you well. So as women, we need to focus on treating ourselves better, focusing on ourselves, focusing on our improvement, and watch how everything turns around, right? So, with that said, I hope you lovely people have a great night. And if you have any questions, as always, you can leave a comment under the video, or or you can message me on Instagram at universe.trip. Okay. All right. So with that said, I'll see you lovely people later. Bye.